Simple. Hello and welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There's something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley and I am joined as always by my co-host Garth Hofer.
Hey, buddy. Intro. That was weird. You actually spoke the intro for once. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen you do that.
Well, I do speak it every time along with myself on our bumper recording.
But it's easy when you have it there. Like, you can hear it and you're saying it. But I actually, we're going old school, man. Doing
Yeah,
all the things.
Yeah, we're kicking it old school tonight. So, yeah, that is
Well,
a
okay,
thing we're
not
doing.
technically 100% old school. If we're going to do an old school, then I'd be in your basement, all the things. But it's
Yep.
snowing. It's the 26th of October. It's snowing. So I can't wait for that.
That's
Can make
awesome.
harvest real fun for a while. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yes. And so, Garth, what have you been up to here recently?
Man, like I said, I haven't been doing a lot of gun stuff per se because it's been harvest time. Now with the snow, might actually get to. I'm kind of excited. We'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. I do have to get to pier tomorrow because I've only got like days left, and I haven't bought a gun for October yet.
Well, are you going to stack one of the other ones you bought for like into that slot or
I could, but it's cheating. I mean, I bought those guns in September, October, and I haven't done it yet. Could I? Sure. Should I? Absolutely. Am I going to? No.
fair enough? Yes. Well, I know one semi-exciting thing for you was
Hmm.
your jackal wound up not being broken.
That's true. That's the one good thing. So all the guys wondering about it, it is fixed. Nick did his magic to it, got it to work properly, and I haven't. I've got the scope and everything back together on it. Haven't had time to go just make sure my zero is still dialed. It should be because it's got a, prior or just a swamp fox optic on it, a prism, and all that does is two set screws, so it should be zeroed. But you got to check because there's always that thought in the back of your head.
Especially if you put it in the same spot.
Well, I think I took a picture. It looked close enough.
Yes, it's it'll do.
Yeah, I mean if it's off by 3 inches or whatever, we can adjust that. It's fine. So
Yep. No, so let's see. I fixed your rifle. Then last week we did not have a show, unfortunately, and
no,
that
yeah.
that was because I was traveling. And let's see, I'm trying to think if I have done anything fun with guns other than what I'm going to talk about with our travels or with my travels. And the answer to that's a soft maybe. I know that
Well, I mean, yeah.
I took your rifle to the range. I
Hmm.
yeah, I've worked on a lot of rifles. Um, haven't had to shoot a bunch. Most of them are pretty simple, just itty bitty things, and it was okay. I do know that we are getting close to hunting season here, and I went to a public range to test fire your rifle. And of course, when you dropped it off, you were fully anticipating sending that back. So you'd pulled like the sights and everything, and it was just the naked rifle.
Yeah.
So after I remedied the situation, which was a gas block was like a full turn out. So I just had to move a detent around a little bit and get everything set back in place. And just, hey, we're going to give this a shot. And it worked. I just did a 15 round mag dump like into the berm. And this father and son come up and they get out of their car and pull their, soft rifle cases with their scoped hunting rifles. And I have my pickup there running. It just walk up, bang, okay, make an adjustment, bang. All right, we're in business now. And then just rip 20 rounds out. Go, all right, it cycles. Throw the rifle back in my pickup, reach down, pick up all my brass. And this man and his son are looking at me like I just crucified someone.
I can only imagine the thoughts that were going through their head in today's world. Why is he doing that? Where's the scope at? Why? Like, just, yeah.
Yep, as I
Straight
just
mag dumping trash.
Yep, I mean I pretended to be an AK guy for a little bit, and that's pretty much what I did. So, and there we go. So, with that, also a little bit of foreshadowing. Speaking of AKs, in the month of December, like in December, make sure you're listening because we will be doing our AR versus AK, and that with Marty over at Talking Lead for the AK Corner. So that will be coming out soon, or well, soon-ish in like a month and a half. But anyways,
Yeah. I mean, if they want to keep talking about how they and then leave with their tail between their legs again, that's fine with me.
yeah, I mean it works.
Yeah.
So the other cool thing that I did was I went to Rocky Mountain Range Day, which was hosted by Swamp Fox Optics, and that was a blast.
Yeah, you had a lot of cool content that you were sending me while I was not able to go. I tried my dangest to make it there. Things didn't work out. But you made a lot of cool friends, and we got a lot of cool seeing people that want to come on the show in the near future, and we're excited to interview all those guys.
Yep, and so this event was in Colorado Springs, and it was a range day that we got invited to go to. They had some general public there too, which was kind of neat. That was not purely industry people, so that was kind of cool. And like I saw quite a few guys there that we knew. Handful of guys that I got to meet for the first time. There will be, I'm sure, a lot of content coming out as a result of this. But there was a couple, like a couple companies that were really cool, and since this sometimes turns into the 320 podcast, there was a company there called Gun Cuts, and for anyone watching live, I will pull this up, and they have a amazing 320 frame that I got to shoot. And it was an all aluminum frame.
Nice.
So think like the fancy AXG.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Then they also make their own slides and everything like that. So I will pull up a picture here of their slide and metal grip module. And it is quite impressive. It shot really well. That aluminum grip frame is just great. So you can get it with the safety cut, but that was I think that might be the pistol I was shooting.
Nice.
So if you can't see it, they call it their cyberpunk slide with some interesting cuts and everything like that for lightning. And then they do have their own grips that are G10 that they make that go into it. And that is pretty solid. The other one that I think I liked even more, though, was, and this one's going to be hard to get a picture of because, like, I held it, I shot it, but they don't really
Mm-hmm.
do, like, pictures of it on their website because, why would anyone want to look at it? And that is from Great Lakes Firearms and Ammunition. Um, they had a 300 Win Mag AR. So
Insane.
yeah, the 300 Win Mag that they had on there, it's sub $1,000 retail, and
Wow.
yeah, what since I can't have a picture of it up, let me see if I can find another uh, picture of it elsewhere on the internets.
And they
But
do more than just one caliber, correct?
oh no, they very much so. They do like they have the standard you know 223 300 blackout, all of the rest, and
Mm-hmm.
then they do the obviously 308s, 6.5 Creedmoors, etc. And then they have the 300 Win Mag, and how they did that is quite brilliant because what they did is something very similar to how Ruger and POF both made their their small frame AR-10s.
Mm-hmm.
And on a standard, all right, I have a, well, no, I don't have a picture of it. I'm just going to do one of these because I will use my words as I explain the picture. What they did was they took the receiver that you would normally have, and it's obviously a proprietary lower receiver. And where you normally have that kind of the swoopy bit, if you will, to go from the, tower where the buffer would hook in to the trigger guard, there's generally that rather large um radius, like curved radius there.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was moved everything back. So here I will pull up this picture for anybody watching so that I can explain this better because as I as I look at it, I am a better talker while I'm looking sometimes than
Sometimes.
yes. So as you look on the back of where the grip meets the lower receiver, you can see it has a radius that goes back to the tower that would hook the buffer into it, where the buffer screws
Yep.
into. And as that goes down, what they did ostensibly was they took the trigger guard, mag release, everything like that, and just slid it back so that your
Hmm.
safety through pin, like the where your safety selector would come through, sits
Mm-hmm.
almost dead under the rear takedown pin. So they just brought all of that back and then obviously made a hammer that would allow that to work.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was, like minimal stuff and obviously some proprietary parts because, well, there's not a lot of 300 Win Mag ARs out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never heard of one till now.
Well, there is another one. Let's see, Falcon and Nemo. I think both made one out in Montana, but
Okay.
these guys did it a little bit better in my mind, and like you can't argue with the price. The only issue comes into like the magazines are 5-round mags, and they are
Hmm.
not uh, what I would call cheap because I think a mag is $60.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's yeah, money.
That's when you're probably not going to have 10 mags laying around for. But
More than likely
if
not. No.
yeah, oh Thomas, they're sweet. I have I have video of John Patton from the Gun Collective shooting it, and it kicks like a 12 gauge semi-auto, so almost no recoil because that's one of the benefits of the AR platform. And man, that thing is just pop 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 like uh, uh, obviously we were shooting like a silhouette at 100 yards, and that's not hard to do, especially with a 300 Win Mag. Just bang 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 and clang clang clang. As soon as you did that, it worked quite well, and I was absolutely enamored by it. Like, because it's big gun go boom. And then the other thing that I might have to tell some guys around here is they also make a ton of 243 gun or ARs.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of our friends really love 243s.
Yep.
And
For the environment patrol and things of that nature.
yes, so that is another super handy thing that they had. And it was just really the other thing there. So this year, that 300 Win Mag platform, that long action, 30
Hmm.
6, and they were saying like they had because they had a 30 6 there. They're doing a 270 7 rem mag and 6.5 and 7 millimeter arc,
Wow.
and
And
then
all
some
these
random.
probably are 5 round magazines as well.
Yes,
Okay.
no 338 Lapua, Seth. No, that's a little bit. It's not an extra large long action, but I mean it really is truly innovative, and like it is a awesome thing to see. So
Very cool.
yes, with that,
Was there any other with outstanding things that you can think of that you really are looking forward to production? Not giving too much away for future guests.
there were some new optics from Swamp Fox that were there that I got to try out. Those were awesome. They were mainly pistol optics for that. And the other thing that was legit awesome was the new War Horse from Swamp Fox. And again,
Nice.
we are not sponsored by Swamp Fox, no matter what anyone thinks. And
Never have. Maybe will be someday.
yeah, like a guy can dream. So Tyler, if you're listening to this, and not Tyler, co-host Tyler, who's deployed, but Swamp Fox Tyler, hey bud. But
Hmm.
no, the I was running. I actually got to run that on a rifle that Sean from We Like Shooting brought, and he had his Mitchell Defense AR there. That thing ran like a top. That was a pleasure to shoot. And like again, with that setup, it's a first focal plane, 1:6. So it is a little bit lower on the magnification than like the 1:10s and stuff like that. But the reticle gets bigger and smaller as you run your mag or run your magnification.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it at 100 yards. So
Cool.
it shot good. I
It
I
did
I
things
did the
gooder.
I did the things. I hit the targets, and that's all I have to say about that. Like it worked. It did exactly what I expected it would, and
Well, that's good. You never want to miss targets in a group of guys like that because they're never gonna let. I know.
yeah. Well, we did have some pretty awesome guys there. I mean, we had Jonathan, from Tactical Toolbox, and Mike from Tactical Considerations. Again, John from the Gun Collective and Sean from We Like Shooting. Gun Owners of America were there. National Association for Gun Rights. I mean, a bunch of people that we've met and know, and it was a ton of fun being around them. And then it was, like, hey, we're doing this, and then we all went to supper and had a little bourbon and carried on about our week. So,
Cool.
without any further ado, Garth, we actually have
I
a
guess.
topic this week, and it's not just me rambling into the ether.
Yeah. We have those for months. Once in a while. It's kind of weird, but we do.
Yes, we do. And this is one we may have talked about before, but it does bear witnessing. Also, with the time of recording of this, I would be remiss if I didn't like we're not going to make an official statement about anything,
Hmm.
but there was a tragedy that happened in Maine. Yes, we are aware of it. No, it did not change my stance on guns or gun control. No one is coming to save you. Expect to self-rescue. Always be armed.
Yep. I 100% agree on that. So I think that's all we need to say about that.
Exactly. So, moving on, AR alternatives. And I think you and I might have gone a couple different directions on this because we were talking about it. And I was like, we should maybe do an AR alternative show. And when we were talking about it, we kind of went loose and fast on the rules on this one. It wasn't like it has to shoot 223. I think the
No.
main
Yeah.
thing is it detachable magazine.
Yep. That's pretty much it. And that's fine. And that's probably my fault because been sharing a few posts on Facebook and Instagram and things of that nature, and just getting outside the realm of AR. We are the AR-15 podcast, and we always will be. But man, I enjoy shooting guns besides ARs.
I like
So
guns.
I love guns, and so we're going to talk about some different ones tonight. So you want to start us off?
No, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. And then
Okay.
I'm going to let you lead these off.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to kick it simple right to the very beginning. One of the first long guns I owned that wasn't a 1022 or a I did start off with a DPMS when I first turned 21, and that was god awful. But we're not going to talk about that because that's an AR. We're going to talk about something else, and this one is called a Ruger American Predator bolt action, guys. I love this firearm simply because it's not an AR. There's something nostalgic about running a bolt action rifle, and this particular gun I've used to hunt deer with, I've used to hunt prairie dog with, I've used to hunt coyote with. Something about taking your time with follow-up shots and running a bolt really just gets me in the realm of hunting.
What
You were
caliber
gonna
were
say
you
something.
saying that in?
This is 223, and this is specifically 223. It's not 223-556. It's stamped on the barrel. I may have run some 556 through it, but I'm not sure. Like you're not
You'll
really
be fine.
supposed to do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but
fine.
no,
It's not a rifle from like the 50s.
yeah. So yeah, that is my one of my favorite go-to guns. Every time we go prairie dog hunting, that's the first gun I grab because it has a dispensable magazine that you can drop out. You can put it comes with a standard 10 round, a 30 round AR magazine into it.
So that is one important distinction that he was talking about is they run AR mags, his particular one, the Ruger American Ranch Predator or Predator Ranch, I think was what it's called. And
Well,
they
the
take
Pred long, yeah. As for the screen viewers at home, this would be your standard Ruger American Predator. It can load a simple 30 round mag in there, and it just looks pretty sweet with a 30 round mag in it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. So right on. I am not going to have any manually operated firearms on my list
Fair.
because, well, that's just me. And well, I have plenty of bolt action guns, and I have some that I absolutely love and love for different reasons. All of mine are going to be semi-automatics, and to that end, there will be maybe I think all of them also you can get in 223, except maybe for one. And the first one that I would bring up as an AR alternative is one that I have never owned. I do not own this rifle. Actually, most of these I've never owned. Uh, on my list, I have owned a total of two and a half of these.
2.5. Okay.
But a Tavor, specifically an X95, an IWI X95 Tavor. So 223 runs AR mags. The benefit of the X95 is that the manual of arms is I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. The mag release is in the same place versus a traditional Tavor or Tavor SAR where you have to come back and hit the paddles in front or behind. So you push the button in front of the trigger guard to drop the mag, even though the magazine is in your armpit.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of difference in how you run that with moving everything around, but it's 223 semi-automatic and has an amazing reputation, super reliable, super accurate, and I have thought about buying them and had them up on Gunbroker numerous times, just never pulled the trigger.
I should say as well what price range these firearms are coming in at. Just so people don't get super excited and then find out it's a $2,000 gun or something like that.
Oh yes, this is a rather expensive rifle.
Yes, yours is. The American comes in at a nice $529, I believe, starting. So
Yes, and from PSA, this is going to be $1,750. So
but yeah, still under
1,000.
that 2 grand.
Yep, under the $2,000 mark, but still a. I mean, it's no joke.
Yeah.
So the reason I went with that is, I mean, it's not that it has super common parts here, but there are times when a bullpup is ridiculously handy because a
Mm.
16-inch bullpup or a 17-inch bullpup is about the same length as a 10.5-inch AR.
Yep.
And
And
that is really nice. And I have shot and played with several other bullpup designs. And the X95 is the one I like the most.
that is one gun I have never actually fired. I would like to. I've seen a lot of videos on them, stuff about them. I didn't want to spend the kind of coin that they are, but I can't say much because the next gun on my list actually falls into the bullpup category of a Keltec RDB. And you know, again, like you said, I think the big push or reason to have a bullpup is because of the length of the entire firearm. It's so easy to maneuver. I really do enjoy shooting it. The recoil on them is I don't think is outlandish or anything like that. The RDB, the one thing I do not care for is release is at located on the firearm, just because there's that gap between the handguard or the pistol grip and the magazine, and it's good enough where you're right on it, but if you move your hand back, there's a possibility of you hitting that. No, that for that reason alone, it's not my favorite gun in the safe, but for the maneuverability of it, I do enjoy shooting that weapon a lot.
And I have shot, or I'm not sure if I've ever actually shot one of your RDBs because this is the second one you've had. And
Yeah, I know. I'm horrible.
but I know that I've handled them before, and I have a very unfortunate thing with those rifles. They are hard, if not impossible, for me to shoot because
And that being,
my meat hooks are so large that when I
mm,
wrap around the grip, the recoil
yep,
impulse drops the mag, and I have very large mitts, so this is not a common problem.
mm,
It's a unique to me problem. It's the same reason why I can't shoot the PMR 30 or PMR 30 or CMR 30. The
yeah.
heel mag release on them. As soon as I grip it, the mag falls out.
Well, now I'm just looking here at pictures of the Tavor, and I just realized this. The Tavor is a uh, firearm. I can't do that, so that's a thing for me. I'm a left-handed shooter, but I shoot
Uh,
right-handed guns.
you can adjust that to eject from the left side.
Oh, you can. Okay, well that's good
Yep.
because the
No,
one thing about the RDB drops straight down.
it is the Tavor is an ambi setup, so
Okay.
you can set them to eject out of the. There's a little plate on the left side that you just remove and put over
Okay.
the right, and it'll like you swap those out, and it does the out the other side.
Okay. Well, that's good because some companies don't do that, and that really prohibits me from doing anything. And then they don't make left-handed firearms, which I don't want. I think left-handed guns are weird, like really weird.
That is
It's just me.
fair. That is fair, and like I am really not trying to do like an IWI like list entirely, but
But
the next gun on my list for me is one that I have shot, but again have never owned, and that is a Galil in
nice.
223. So Galil, for those who don't know, now we have the Galil like Ace V2 or Ace Gen 2, where they changed some things about them. But the original Galil was built off of, I want to say, like a Valmont, which is a derivative of an AK. And when they went to the derivative of the AK, they went, okay, hey, we're going to do this. And then they made it in 5.56. So it was actually still a 223 and capable of firing all of that. And of course, it's ultra reliable, has a lot of the benefits of, best of both worlds on things, and everybody loves them. The thing that sucks about them is mounting optics.
And why is that?
Because you have to use a like HK claw style mount. So it has because it is a crossbreed where they used parts of an AK, the dust cover moves or like comes up and is hinged. So you have a weird like claw mount to attach optics to it because it was designed to be run with just iron sights.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yes, so that is my number 2. They're just it's an ultra solid, super reliable. The other downfall of them is if you get a proper Galil, you have to buy their mags because they do not use Stanag or M16 or AR mags.
That is a bummer. What do those usually come in at?
Oh, let's see if you can find an original Galil, because they have the Gen 2 now, which they did make a lot of improvements. Like the Galil Ace, they have the capability where those come with a rail from the factory ready to go, and then the new ones can also take AR mags. So the newer ones are like the Ace Gen 2s, and as I sit here and look up prices, because I obviously was not prepared for this. Hey,
sorry, I just thought it'd be.
Yeah, I know. These again are going to be in that 1,700 to $2,000 range.
Man, you're an expensive shooter, man.
Today I am.
Well, that's fair. My second choice is just coming in at $1,100 with tax, probably. So.
Oh, is this the one I got to be pedantic about?
This next one? Yeah, it is. I mean, you can, if you want to be. So
I probably will be.
It's no, yeah. All right, then we'll talk about it. It's no secret that we've been talking about the Jackal for a while, and that's where the Jackal falls on my list at number 3, since it is a long stroke. And beautiful guys. Oh, and there's something on this gun that I think Nick would love to talk about because it's on any gun. Most of all our guns have these.
And that is a VZ grip. The unique features of VZ grips is they're machined from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and a wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability. Standard and slim palm swills, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. And this coupon is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips. And that code is AR-15 podcast.
Yeah. And this gun here, the reason I bought it, honestly, was just because I wanted a battle rifle. And this, I feel, checks all the boxes with the optic I have on it. with the possibility of putting a suppressor on it in the near future. And man, I really wanted a piston gun. It's been a long time. I used to have an SR-556 and loved the heck out of it, but it was such a heavy beast, and the weight of the Jackal really it doesn't have that. So it's just something I had to have in the collection. I'm not going to say that it's superior to anything out there. I just really enjoy shooting it. So
Yep. And now this does go in line with something that I was going to bring up and say, because it would be the the Jackal's direct competitor, but as a short stroke piston. But also, this is where I could be like, well, that's still an AR legally.
yeah.
Because if you pop that off, you will see that that actually has a standard AR lower receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So it does in fact it is in fact an AR.
Yep. As you can see, I mean it's right there. So
Yep. No,
I'm not
and
going to pop it off.
yeah, so that is just one of those things where it does have that. I also was going with a gun that I have had some time behind, and not nearly as much as a Jackal, but it captivated my interest as much when it first came out,
Mm-hmm.
and very much so ACR at home.
Oh yeah.
But and that was the Brownells BRN 180, because
Nice.
when I went to get my very first AR, I walked into our local gun shop, and this was before ARs were really a big thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for an AR. I wanted to buy one. And on the shelf for $450, sitting behind the cash register, was an AR 180.
Nice.
And I went, oh man, that's awesome. And I looked at it, and I asked the proprietor of the shop, Cody, and was like, hey man, so this AR here. He goes, yep. Now that one's a little bit different. You're going to have a hard time mounting a scope to that, because it was an original Armalite AR 180 for $450. And it took the weird magazines that you had to convert metal mags, like metal AR mags, and cut them more to make the notches work and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the AR 180, and awesome rifle. If you really want to get into it, the operating system with the twin action bars and like twin springs or recoil springs on a short stroke piston, like I don't know, a Scar, that terrible, abysmal, Enfield L85 that the British fielded. All of those guns, it's really just an AR 180. Like the internals of most of them, like even an MCX,
Mm-hmm.
is an AR 180. Like they just dolled it up a little bit. And Brownells makes these rifles now, and when they redid them, they made them to fit on a standard AR lower receiver, but they produced their own receiver that did not have a buffer pass through. So
Oh.
it is just a pick rail on the buffer tower. And it is not compatible with the Jackal, because they were not going to play nice together. But no. And the AR 180, super solid gun. Again, bufferless, so you can fold the stock, because folding stocks are cool. And get that out of the way, and runs a standard AR mag now and uses AR fire control group parts. Mount anything you want to it because it's got a rail. Like they modernized and fixed all of the problems with it. So this is my number 3 pick is the BRN 180.
Nice. Cool. Oh man, well, I got 2 left, and I think I know what order I'm going to go in. So I'm just going to grab it right off the couch here, and we're going to go a little bit more nostalgic, and we're going to talk about the Mini 14. A lot of guys have given me a lot of critique, and I accept all of it because here's the thing: I don't disagree with anything anyone's ever said about the Mini 14. I simply want it because in my profession, in my line of work, every rancher and farmer has owned a Mini 14 in their life. I haven't until now, and that's the only reason. It's a gun that, it's 200 yard, range. It's about it, really. I mean, yeah, you can take it further than that, I'm
They're a
sure, but
lot
it's
better than they used to
accurately.
be.
No, they are. They are, and I will give them that. I was ringing steel at 300 yards the other day with this one, and I just have just a nice little vortex on it. But it's a fantastic rifle. It gets a lot of crap for the magazines and how they feed in there and stuff. And I will admit the 5-round magazines are awful. I'm gonna just probably get rid of those altogether. Don't have any reason for a 5-round magazine in. But if you got a 20 or 30 rounder mag, it feeds really easy, and it's a nice shooting gun. I think it's a whole bunch of nostalgic. When you look at the old farm pickups and you looked in the back window, I don't know how many Mini 14s I saw back in the day just driving around. So that's all it was for me, is something cool, something, a bit of history from my childhood. And so that's why I picked up one of these guns. And I can't say it'll be the first gun I grab out of the safe if things go sideways, but taking it out to the farm and using it for coyote hunting, I have no problem doing that whatsoever. So that's why the Mini 14 short action 4.
Oh, I am going to say that you did take my number 1 alternative because it probably is the easiest to find. But I am going to say this. The only thing that still makes the Mini 14 cool is the Samson Manufacturing folding stock.
You are 100% correct. That is a badass looking gun.
And that is because I am a child of the 80s. And I grew up watching Hannibal Smith and the A-Team.
Yep.
With their folding stock minis. Just spray indiscriminately and never hit anyone. And I have always wanted one since then. And Mini 14, again, there you're looking at probably $1,000, maybe a little bit more.
Yep, right in that area.
One of those, and that is not an insubstantial amount of money.
You bet.
Well, I shouldn't say that. That might be the cheapest one on the list.
Mine it was, I believe. No, I had the Ruger Bolt, so that was a 5. So I lied.
Yep, and the next one of these does come from, is available from Palmetto State Armory, along with the magazines, because I'm not going to go full communist, but a 5.56 AK from PSA is a gun that's there. It is not on my list. It is barely an honorable mention, because I would be remiss without saying that an AK is a thing, and it is an alternative. It's the wrong alternative, but nonetheless, it is there.
I'd like to shoot one before. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't spend money on something stupid like that. I've seen me do things like that, but I would like to just take, go to the range with one and see how it actually functions and fires.
Well, we can have you shoot my AK. I have mags
Yeah,
that
but you
will
have
work
a real
with it.
AK.
Yeah, it's the same. It's all it's it's
Different bullet.
it's all just starvation and communism. It's
Well, okay.
it's but like it's varying degrees of terrible, and we'll go with that. So no, as we keep going through, like you brought up the mini, and like if we move on in calibers, like I was gonna say, obviously the mini 14. Uh, Behind me, I have one of the semi-automatic rifles I've purchased in my life, and I want to say this one was fairly early in the list, but my M14, which is a mini 14, but bigger,
Yeah.
because this is uh, this is you know in 308, and it is also not an accurate, ultra accurate firearm. Like this is I've done a bit of tuning to this one and gotten it down to more or less a minute of accuracy, and a 1 minute M1A or Mini 14 is actually very impressive. And I mean, this one does its stuff. It does good, and when it's running, it runs well. When it's not, it doesn't. And yeah, that's my M14. The other thing that I would be remiss without mentioning, like as much as I love AR-10s, I have a deep-seated fascination with one rifle platform that I have never owned, and have like I have lost so many gun broker auctions for these. It's not even funny, because I'm cheap, and that is an FAL. Thomas
Yeah.
Leith, you shut your whore mouth. We're not here to talk about SKSs. And but I no, the FAL, the right arm of the free world, like veteran of the Rhodesian Bush Wars. I mean, something like, what was it, 95 countries used it or still use it as their
Yeah.
military rifle. It is it is an amazing firearm, and I love it.
And to answer Seth's question, I did look at the Mossberg MVP once upon a time ago, and I found the same issues with that one about the bolt being sticky and the magazine's not feeding correctly, and so you'd be firing, and all of a sudden they just drop out on you. And so, as much as I wanted to own one, I thought they looked really cool, and the concept was they had the concept before the Ruger Americans came out, but I just didn't feel comfortable going that direction.
And I'll be honest, Garth is a bit of a Ruger fanboy.
I am a little bit of a Ruger fanboy. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to count how many Rugers I have in that safe over there, but I am a little bit of a Ruger fanboy. But actually, my number one is not a Ruger, and this might be my favorite rifle just because, again, I like to say it's nostalgic purposes, but how many rifles do you own that have mags that are 30 rounds or 20 rounds or even 10 rounds? Everyone's getting away from traditional hunting rifles, and that's actually what's in my hand right now. I love that Henry came out with the Long Ranger series a couple years ago. They came out in 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 223. And I picked up the Henry Long Ranger in the 223 with the 5 round box magazine, threaded barrel, got a nice little Vortex 3x9x40 scope on it. And I thought about suppressing this gun, but honestly, that takes away my opinion as well, being suppressed. Sometimes it's nice to hear a loud pop. I do wear your protection when I shoot this gun, obviously. But man, there's something about a lever gun. I'll never get over hearing that sound. And so for me, to have one firearm in the safe that's actually intended to be a hunting rifle and not something I can just go bang steel at, 30, 40, 50, depending on what magazine I have in there. It's nice to have to say that. Well, I mean, living out here in South Dakota, Nick, you've done some deer hunting in your past. I've done a,
I've
I don't
I've
have a,
I've done a
yeah,
fair bit of deer hunting.
yeah. So it's nice to say I have a gun in the safe that I can actually take out and not have to worry about the game warden rolling up on me and going, "Hey, so you got an AR over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." You got a 5 round mag? No, there's 5 bullets in the mag though. Yeah, because he's gonna believe that.
See, I have 5 round mags for everything.
I do too, but I don't know where they are right
They,
now.
they're
I know I
they
have them.
are they're in a hunting box for me. Actually, I have a 5 round AR mag right there, and
Yeah. See, yeah.
yep, and no, I no I deer hunt with a 308 AR,
Yeah.
and yeah, I kind of live and die in the AR world.
You do. Yes, and I wish I was that dedicated. I am not. I've kind of steered away. I don't have as many ARs as I used to. That scares me because I before I was ever on the AR-15 podcast, I had way more AR-15s than I do now.
So the reason for me is it comes down to pure ergonomics and
Hmm.
like so I still have like my fine Winchester and Weatherby rifles that are
Yeah.
heirloom rifles, and I can't, or it's not that I can't shoot them. I do not shoot them well because of like how everything sits. If I grab a traditional combed or like stocked rifle where it has that like what is it? Fight Light Industries does the lower receiver that looks like a standard hunting gun,
Yeah.
and it's an AR that has that, which would be an honorable mention because it's kind of an AR. Like you can use any upper on it, but you have to use their bolt, which is kind of like half Remington 1187 and half AR. Anyway, uh, I digress. Sorry, I went down the rabbit hole like I did at the Bond Arms booth when I was like, "Oh, this is this and this," and I started naming parts off, and the guy looked at me like I was weird because I was right.
No, he looked at you like he found a friend.
This guy gets it.
Yeah.
Um, but no, that traditional, stocked or comb, however you want to put it. My I have so many reps on an AR
Hmm.
that going back to that is somewhat problematic for me.
And I get that because of your military background. Growing up, I wasn't shooting ARs. I was shooting Remington 870 shotguns, Ruger 1022s, and Henry 22 long rifles. So to pick up that Long Ranger, man, that feels like home. Like that's where it's at.
Yeah, and I get that when I grab my AR. I'm like, "Yep, this is what right feels like," which is kind of why I got so excited about that 300 Win Mag AR because I'm like, now I have an AR for elk.
Yeah, and that's why I'm super stoked about that Bond Arms 223 lever action that's coming out. Hopefully, sometime in January.
Yeah, all over going like, now I have an elk AR. Yes, and like that's me. I'm gonna hump that heavy thing up and down hills and shoot creatures with it, and just be happy. But no, I've had a lot of the other ones, and I do have a Mini 14 in my safe now. It is my father-in-law's. It is not mine, but it's in my safe. And
But it's in your safe.
I do have a couple more honorable mentions. Did you have any honorable mentions, Garth?
No, man, let's hear him.
So, one was the Set Me L. So, if you don't know what a Set Me is a roller delayed. Uh, it's like a G3 or FAL. Like they kind of borrowed a little bit from designs, going back and forth. But the Set Me L is the 5.56 variant of those. There was a time when you
Okay.
could get regular Set Me's fairly cheap, which was an HKG3. And the biggest problem everyone has with the Set Me is fluted chambers. And
Ooh.
they ruin brass. I don't know about the Set Me L's. Garth goes, ooh, like he wants one now.
Look. Well, yeah, I'm on Gunbrook right now, just kind of seeing what's going on. It's not bad.
So Seth talks about the Beretta ARX 100. I am such a Beretta nerd that I, for a time, entertained getting one of those to shoot 3-gun with, just so I could shoot with a 100% Beretta system. Like everything I have
Oh,
would be
yeah,
Beretta.
that's ugly.
Oh, they are ugly space guns, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's really all I have to say about them. They work like, but ugly space guns, and like Gar says, ugly space gun, and he has owned more space guns than anyone else I know.
that is correct. Safe long, but you gotta own it to shoot it to get a real opinion. I mean, well, that used to be it. Now we actually get to go to these range day things, and so I get to shoot guns there now. But before, no one else would buy these weird guns, so I had to buy them and then decide if they were worth keeping or not. So at least I
Chris
have that
Vector,
going for me. The Chris Vector.
yes. I
Yeah,
remember
that was a horrible,
I remember working on the
horrible
Chris
decision.
Vector a lot. I learned more
You
about
were,
how a
I think
Chris
you put
Vector
like
works.
3 firing pins in.
Now, I learned more about how those things worked than I ever wanted to.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
I
Three
mean,
firing pins, right?
that's what I'm here for, right? I as
Yeah.
the gunsmith.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're not gunsman,
Yep. So HK91, which is also like a variant of the Set Me, uh, destroyed brass through it a mile, and it's filthier than any suppressed AR. With a headwind, it would gas you out, and that is not wrong. Uh, but no, it's we come back to that. Um, those are really my only like. There's a ton of good guns out there, guys. Weird guns are fun. Like I do like weird guns. I'll admit it. I'm that guy. And there's some of that stuff that you know I will live and die by the AR. Like it is the best platform and system on the market, and you can take that to the bank because I
yep.
truly believe that it is the most versatile and best system that you can go with. Now that I have said that, don't be afraid to look at weird guns because, like, weird guns are cool. Sometimes you want to get stuff just for the oddity. Like, I've been that guy.
There's nothing wrong with rolling up to the range, popping open your hard case, and watching five guys go, what's in there?
Yep. Now,
There's nothing better.
like an FAL is about $1,500, and
For the most part, our list has been right around that. So I mean, if you're gonna be weird, you gotta have a little cash in you.
yeah, like being different costs money, right? That's the reason
Yep.
why, like, AKs are ultra reliable, and they're maybe accurate sometimes with the right person behind them. But ARs are always reliable and also very accurate. But, like, we live in the golden ages of ARs, and
We do.
they're $350 to $400. If you hear my voice and do not own an AR, fix yourself.
Yes, we live in troubled times. Defend yourself. Protect yourself.
And FS 2000, Seth, who hurt you? No, the VHS, to not the thing that we watched movies on when we were growing up, but what is it that Springfield calls it?
Oh
Oh,
gosh, what
the
is it?
Hellion,
It's not.
the Hellion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Just go back to hell where they found it.
I mean, no, the VHS is a very comparable rifle. It's produced in Serbia like the rest of Springfield stuff, and it's everything except the M1A, all designed there allegedly, whatever. Um, and it's I will say that it is a reliable rifle. It is a battle rifle. It has some ergonomic things that I would not pick, and it is a bullpup, and bullpups are just goofy and weird. But no, that's it. And really, Garth, you got anything other like weird guns or other 223 AR kind of combat battle rifles to talk about?
No, man, I don't because we're gonna keep it 223 specific this evening.
I mean,
So
I talked about the FAL, and that's a 308.
yeah, but we agreed 308s. That's comparable. So
I mean,
actually, what I will say is, guys should go out and check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co, guys, for all your pop culture patches, for all your cleaning pads or mouse pads, for all your tin signs and stickers. Go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co. But
yes, and
beyond that, no, I don't have too much else to say about the world of weird and different guns other than the AR.
no, like I have a fair share of weird ARs. Like that's and the AUG, yes, like the AUG is like the third tier gun in Die Hard. Because the star of that show is obviously my beloved Beretta, followed closely by an MP5, and lastly by the AUG, which the AUG has the weirdest trigger I've ever shot. If you ever shoot a full auto AUG, it is a compound trigger. So what that means is, like, everybody's heard of a two-stage trigger where you pull back on it and then it's like, okay, there's something moved, and then you pull back again and it has the brake and it
Mm-hmm.
goes bang. Okay, so you do that and it goes bang, and then you let forward and it goes bang. But if you on an AUG, if you pull back again, through that first shot, like if you're like, okay, bang, and then pull back more, that's how you activate full auto.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a stupid heavy and long trigger. Like, it is ungood. Anyway, welcome to my TED Talk.
Ah, well.
And yes, like on the FNP 90, they all took their goofy kraut magic and used those. But the other thing that you should know is when things go sideways, will you be prepared? Some people are concerned they might have to go for a long time without electricity or even food. And that's why I want to introduce you to 4patriots.com. Get preparedness products that you can use now that could save your life later. My favorite is 4Patriots' new solar generator, the Patriot Power Generator 2000X. It uses endless free power of the sun to power lights, your TV, medical equipment, or even run your fridge. Plus, it's expandable and comes with a free solar panel. Or pick up one of 4Patriots' best-selling survival food kits. Delicious tasting and designed to last for 25 years. They even have kits with real meat. And when the power's out, no worries, just boil water over a fire, simmer, and serve. You'll enjoy a hot meal and stay safe in a crisis. More smart people are moving over to 4patriots.com. Over 2 million customers trust them, and you might have even seen them on TV. The folks at 4Patriots set up a special page just for you at 4patriots.com/FRN. So that our listeners can go and see this week's discounts and deals before they go away. So go to 4patriots.com/FRN. Again, 4patriots.com/FRN. Well,
awesome.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add this week in our AR alternatives. I mean, obviously, we should talk about like the Scar Light.
Yeah, the Scar 16.
Yeah, but nobody really cares about it because it's not a 308. And
well, I mean, if you can buy a Scar 16, you can buy a Jackal.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think you'd be money ahead buying a Jackal over a Scar 16.
100%.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But anything else to add this week, Garth?
No, man, it's been fun chatting. It's been about all these different guns that I'm going to get crapped on later on social media for. So,
yes, send hate mail to Garth at.
Please, it's fun. I like reading that stuff. It's fun.
Yes. No, guys, make sure you send us emails. Check in with us. Find us on social media. All of the things. We even have, this will be, I think, live on Rumble tomorrow because Rumble picks up our live streams now. I'm just not sure when it does, if they do it live or not. And with that, folks, you folks out there, remember, no one is coming to save you. Expect to self-rescue. You stay armed and stay safe. Support the people who support the show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, 4patriots.com, and Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to check us out on social media. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 on Instagram. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 on YouTube. AR-15 Podcast 2 on Twitter. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook and wherever podcasts are found. If you just want to drop us a line, let us know how we're doing, or give us a show idea, make sure to send that email to AR-15podcast 2.0 @gmail.com.